So, dear colleagues, let's start again. As I lost the connection, I'm sorry for this. Stakeholder analysis. Stakeholder management can make or break a project. However, it is really difficult to manage and engage stakeholders if you haven't taken the time to do a comprehensive assessment of who they are, power, and influence, and explore ways to engage them during the identification and definition phase. This process will begin by analyzing the stakeholders and determining their power and influence. The analysis will be the launching point for a management and engagement strategy that is developed later phases of the project. So uh, in this phase, there will be some key outputs, and stakeholder analysis is a key output because at the setting of point, we will set the project with the provided analysis on the stakeholders, which is done during this phase. Project logical frame, which is called log frame or logical framework. The project logical frame or log frame is a key process and tool that helps to outline how the activities will lead to the outputs and outcome of the project. It also provides the opportunity for outlining any assumptions related to the objective statements and includes the project indicators and means of verification that will be used to verify the objective statements throughout the project. So in this phase, we must produce the project logical framework because project logical framework will help us in taking decision and from setting the project to uh, planning the project. So in every phases, we need to make sure that we are we are uh, uh, we are ensuring the project is being implemented the way it's planned and the logical framework has been set. And the logical framework will guide throughout the project. So you have to make sure that we have finalized the logical framework, established the logical framework in this project. Then the project proposal. It is during these phase that a project proposal will likely be submitted to obtain funding. For the proposal to be completed, a significant amount of information will need to be developed and obtained to create a comprehensive and accurate as a proposal as possible. It is critical to begin conducting high-level analysis of the project scope, budget, timeline, risks, sustainability, and project closure considerations. You will also need to think about the requirements of the team and what will be needed as far as resources, both human and material, to effectively and successfully deliver the project. So in this phase, we have to ensure that the project proposal is being developed because the donor will want to see the project proposal. Now, high-level project charter. You will begin to build out your project during this phase, doing high-level analysis on risk, stakeholders, human resources, the supply chain, and sustainability. The output of these processes should be a high-level project charter that will be further developing during the project setup phase and a project proposal that will be submitted to obtain funding. So project charter, that is the formal authorization offer from the organization that is called sometimes offer letter, sometimes cover letter of the project, sometimes project authorization letter that is need to be submitted to the donor or the investor. Now, how meal can be a cross-cutting issue. As we told about it during our discussion on the project DPro project management phase model or PM phase model discussion, we told that it was put in the diagram, in the left side of the diagram vertically with a curve that in each phase of the project phase model, we have to make sure that we have a setup of monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning, which is in short, MEAL. So what is the role of MEAL in identification and definition model phase? Engagement of the MEAL team our focal point in this phase is critically important. The, the project manager will be working in close collaboration with the MEAL team throughout the project, but specifically during this phase, there will be a lot of analysis conducted that will require the assistance and input of the MEAL team. This is particularly important as needs assessments and validation are conducted and a proposal developed. The MEAL team will also be involved in helping to develop the logical frame, validating indicators, ensuring that the logic is sound, helping to test assumptions, and ensuring that the means of verification are practical. So now, point 2.1.3. Who is involved in this phase? Means the identification and definition phase. Again, I'm reminding you there are 5 phases in Project DPro PM phase model. Identification and definition, setup, planning, implementing, closure. So 5 phases. Identification and definition, setup, planning, implementing, closure. The project identification and definition phase provides an opportunity early in the project to establish a participatory approach with stakeholders. While participatory approaches to project identification and definition can require more time and resources, using this approach will give stakeholders the opportunity to take control of their own development process, strengthen the project design using information and feedback from multiple perspectives, increase project ownership among stakeholders. You will want to be sure to include as many project team members and stakeholders as possible, but should also bear in mind that at this point, the project manager and much of the team may not have been hired. It is beneficial to ensure that the program manager, MEAL team, and other relevant internal stakeholders are part of the process and can transfer the knowledge and information to the project manager effectively once she or he is hired. The program manager may also be key if the project falls under one of the programs within the organization, ensuring that outcomes align with the overall program strategy and providing guidance to the project manager and team on the analysis and high-level assessments that take place during this phase. Because you will be doing high-level analysis estimations, during this phase, it is also crucial to involve the support and operational teams within your organization. Supply chain, HR, and finance will need to be consulted, especially during the proposal writing process. These personnel can be incredibly helpful in ensuring more accurate estimations when it comes to time, budget, and scope. Now, what does 2.1.4, what does this mean in practice? Means the things we have discussed are those meaningful in practical situations, scenarios. Okay. Subpoint, Resource mobilization and participation of stakeholders. The reality of this phase sometimes means that there is a very limited time to identify the project and define the design and parameters of the scope of work. This is why it is important to take a structured approach to identifying and defining the project and mobilizing the resources needed to effectively do so. Engaging stakeholders in these phases is crucial to the success of the project. The identification and definition of the project can be facilitated through a participatory process that promotes the buy-in for the intervention early on and helps to outline priorities. Another benefit of engaging stakeholders during this phase is to establish a precedent for the way in which you will collaborate and coordinate with stakeholders throughout the life of the project. The engagement should be intentional and strategic, incorporating participation and feedback mechanisms when and where appropriate. While more time consuming, the benefits of using a participatory stakeholder engagement policy far outweigh the challenges, particularly as you get to the planning and implementation phases of the project. So in this phase of the project, the most relevant thing is if we do communicate intentionally, willfully, interact with the stakeholders, we are really outweighing the challenges, the risks. And if we can weigh or if we can measure the challenges, if we can scale the challenges, if we can categorize the challenges and risks, the much we do it, the much we can anticipate the solutions and we can offer a better plan, a better project proposal. Decision gates. Decision gates are essential in any phase of the project, but are particularly relevant in the identification and definition phase. The foundation of the project is set at this phase, so getting it wrong during this phase will have a domino effect on the success and impact of the project as it moves forward. So decision gate is also important. Before taking a decision, in each gate you have to stop. Then you have to look back. That are we doing the right thing, or what is there in what is in the background? Did we do the good job, or is it the right thing to do? Will it bring success? Then if it is yes, if we got the green signal, we will go forward. Establishing formal decision gates and involving stakeholders in the process helps to ensure that you are doing the right project in the right way. Some examples of decision gates during the identification and definition phase can include needs assessment, conceptual project proposal. Needs assessment validates that the need exists and is a priority for the community, stakeholders and beneficiaries. Informs the parameters of the project through data and feedback from stakeholders. Concept note. Presents a high-level project concept in which stakeholders, the organization, project program team, and or donor determine if the project meets the criteria for moving forward. To the project proposal. Project proposal outlines the high-level elements of the project, including scope of work, budget, time frame, risks, stakeholders, intervention logic, resource requirements, and intended to obtain funding. Okay, let's discuss. Let me stop here intentionally and let's discuss this thing in short. In identification and definition phase, there are three micro decision gates. Number one, if we conduct a needs assessment or a feasibility study, short feasibility study, and if we present it to the donor, if donor says this, okay, there is need, so go ahead for the concept. So we write the short concept, then we give it to the donor. Then donor says, okay, yes, go ahead. There are some changes, bring the changes, then come back with the project proposal. Then we come back with the project proposal and he says, okay, there are the changes, or it's green signal, go ahead. So that is the thing that will help us to go ahead step by step and stop reducing the cost of resources and efforts. That's why decision gate is very important. Keep in mind that additional decision gates can be included in this phase and will be dependent on the type and complexity of the project as well as the time frame between the initial uh, uh, project idea or request for proposal and submission of the project proposal. So, dear colleagues, thank you very much. We will start from point 2.1.5 inputs, and let me say page number 47 from tomorrow. So I wish you good luck and see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.